So the next vehicle in might be one you recognise. In fact, that shot itself may be very familiar. It is my cover photo on my Facebook page in the V10 Audi R8 Plus. Unfortunately, in the last couple of months, the vehicle had a bit of an incident with a kid on a bike and a narrow street. The car was parked, not going anywhere. Two kids tried to dart down the inside of the vehicle. Handlebars on said bicycle scraped the near side rear wing and took the paint off. The vehicle came here to see what we can do, but it literally was, you can feel it, you can get your nail into it. It was through the paint, it needed additional paintwork. However, it's now apparent the rest of the car has suffered. There's overspray, there are sanding marks, there's random localized buffer trails where they shouldn't be. I'm not going to get too much into it, I don't want to get involved. I'm just going to do what I'm here to do, which is now a two-stage polish on the entire vehicle with the correction on the near side rear wing, as well as reprotect of the paint, the wheels, the glass, and an interior session. Time is 12:30 on Monday morning, starting on the Audi. I'll come back to that in a bit. Just the analytics side of things for the recent video, the 964, literally posted 30 seconds ago. It's a 21-minute video, 14 people have seen it, and 2 people have already liked it. You've not even had a chance to watch it to see if you like it. It might be terrible, but you've liked it anyway. Nice one. On the R8's offside, this isn't the side that's had the repair work. Loads of buffer trails on the lower quarter here on the rear wing. And then there's a patch of overspray. You'll be seeing more of this later. Buffer trails on the sill as well. Alright, so the first quick initial look over the near side rear quarter. This is the panel that has had paint. You can see the movement, you can see the haze, the holograms, the buffer trails. Different light sources in here are going to show different things. So if we switch to the 50 watt LED flood, in the corner here, there's an assortment of flattening marks. Can't get the camera to focus. There we are. Down here. More hazy patches. If we look down, whoa, lots of trails, buffer trails. So you can see the machine polishes movements up and down, up the way the light follows the hologram. So you can see where it goes to. It stops here, might even overlap. Now, overspray on the very edge of the wing. The buffer trails actually go onto the carbon fibre there as well. So it's come to here, then it's gone back up and over and across. Lots to dig out there. Alright, so probably an hour into the cutting on the freshly painted near side rear wing. Underneath the carbon blade at the top, if we centre on the middle spotlight in the ceiling, let's get some brightness. You can see the squiddly ups and downs, the pigtails, the remaining sander marks. Now I've cut this already. This is well, this section hasn't, but this section has. So it needs doing again. It's still not picked out these marks. But looking at the top inch underneath the blade, this is really tight to the very edge. Now my 3-inch microfiber spot pad isn't getting flush, isn't getting tight into this, isn't actually efficient at this level because of the curvature. So what we're gonna have to do is dig out the rotary and this little fella. This is the ShineMate. It's a 1-inch microfiber pad, wall pad actually, and this, along with the 50mm backing pad, will allow us to get in to the very edge, tight, and drop into that slight curve. Lower rear quarter on the near side, cut slightly hazy. You can see it's bloomy off the light there, and especially in this very top corner, bloomy around the spotlight. This will be rectified during the refining stage. So what it's just had is the harsh cutting stage to remove the abrasions, the buffer trails, the scores that have been induced. Just got these to sort out now. Fully cut and now fully refined. Lots better. Thursday morning, it ain't warm. It's about 9 degrees in here at the minute, so the heating is on. R8 now sits waiting on collection. This is being picked up in the next 10 minutes, and on the way in, I have a Space Grey BMW X3 until Saturday lunchtime. The Audi has received a 2-stage machine polish with paint protection courtesy of Gtechniq C0V2 and then G1 clear vision on the glass. Looks well now, back to where it should have been, or back to where it was before the unfortunate incident with the push bike and the trip to get this rear quarter painted. All is well. Time out. What you're about to see next will be footage from 3 weeks ago. It was from a maintenance job on a VW Touareg. It's relevant now because what the Audi's been through in terms of it's had a panel painted and then the rest of the car suffered. Similar to that, this particular vehicle had the rear offside corner on the rear bumper painted, but you'll see what I mean. And just quickly wanted to show you something that bugs me. A Touareg, VW Touareg here for a bit of a maintenance Sunday afternoon today. It's just had a full wash, a wipe, a vac, glass inside now. This corner of the bumper, offside rear, it's recently been painted. It had a knock. I think they've blended it, they've not done the whole bumper. I don't know the true condition of the paint, I've not looked. However, in wiping the vehicle down, I discover a dual patch on the side of the tailgate. Focus. You can see straight away what they are. So when they've prepped the corner of the bumper, the tailgate lid has been shut, they've overlapped from the bumper onto the tailgate, and these are flattened marks. Bet they've not even seen them. All it takes, open the lid, out the way, and you've got a clean work area. Why compromise other areas of the car that now only otherwise need a 2-stage polish? Look at it. Dull as. Anyway, rant over. Mid-afternoon and the X3 is on the ramp. The full wash, safe wash and 3-part decontamination process complete. First chemical decontamination is tar removal. Second part is iron filings. And then the third mechanical process is the clay bar to lift the remaining surface contaminants that are embedded and bonded to the surface. So if the finish feels rough, if it feels a bit bobbly, your car is contaminated. So on the ramp now, we're looking at a single stage paint enhancement detail with localized corrections where required. There are numerous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numerous areas that require some localized attention. Friday, I know there's not been a great deal of updates on the X3. I've had my head down, I needed to crack on, I was getting behind, and I need to be done by a good time tomorrow morning. So just prepping for the gloss pillars on the near side. So the gloss black pillars, we've seen these before if you're a regular to these episodes. If we look on the top of the D pillar, look what we have here. Nylon bristles from an automated car wash. Need some tweezers to get these out. I know this won't be in the current owner's ownership, they know better, but it will be the previous owner, so in its lifetime it has had some form of automated car wash, but going forward now it will receive the correct care. Space Grey BMW X3 complete. It's been here for 2.5 days now. A single stage polish to the exterior, a gloss enhancement polish with localized corrections where needs be. In my opinion, it's a great all-round colour. It looks great when it's prepped and clean, and at the same time it's forgiving. It doesn't show the light marring and swirls which you'd otherwise see from a few bad washes. So moving forward now, the vehicle is wearing Gtechniq C0V2 AeroCoat, which is the hydrophobic sort of self-clean effect. It really should look after itself and be a doddle to wash. We've also debadged this car. The X3 badge come off. The owner was actually snagging the wash mitt quite often on the X, the sharp points on the X, and leaving lots of material behind the badge. So we've debadged for the cleaner look. It's been given a basic interior job, wheels wearing carbon collector platinum wheels, and overall a nice enhancement. There we are, end of the vlog. It's not been as intense or as long this week. I've not had the time during the week whilst filming here at the unit or at home doing the editing side of things. I've needed to keep it a bit shorter and a bit more basic, but next week I'm back in action. I've got one car for the whole week again, so hopefully I can do a bit more in-depth stuff. At the same time, there is a danger that I start to repeat myself, so I don't want to be going over the same thing every time. So it's, where do I take it from this point on? We'll see. Just quickly touching on Facebook. Obviously there is the WhiteDetails Facebook page, and there's Instagram, YouTube and Twitter. I also have the Jim White personal page, which I've had before WhiteDetails was born. However, I must have, or last count, there was over 200 friend requests pending. It's not that I don't want to be your friend, it's not as though I'm ignoring you or I don't like you, it's just that I want to try and keep the two separate. You're not missing out, nothing happened. I don't ever post on my Jim White page. All that happens is I occasionally get tagged in a photo that I accept from a friend's wedding or a christening or a birthday or Christmas or family. So it's nice to keep them there, and then the work stuff elsewhere. There's plenty of it around. Lots of questions coming in on these little medical swabs. They're exactly that, medical swabs. People ask what are they and where did they get them from. I couldn't tell you. I've had them for years. If you just Google medical swabs, they're very useful in the detailing trade. Toothpicks, cotton buds, Q-tips, these sort of things. You can't have enough accessories for. You might have seen me use them on air vents around the side of the slats, on the interiors, on grills, dressing coatings, on the vents. Just handy to have. I don't know if any detailing suppliers stock them, so you're best off just on Google or Amazon. If I can find something, I'll stick a link below. So whilst we're on it, I've just picked up on a couple of questions. Enrique B on YouTube asked, a real fan, quick question, how important is the clay bar process before machine polishing? Very important. The decontamination process itself splits into 3 parts. You've got the chemical tar removal, chemical iron removal and metallic fallout, and the third and final is the clay bar or the clay mitt, which is pulling off the remaining surface contaminants that are bonded to the paint. If you don't remove the tar with the chemical, the clay bar will remove it also, but all that's happening there, you're picking up the tar off the paint. You've then got tar trapped between the clay bar and the paint, and it's going to scratch. So you want to get it dissolved chemically first before you come to do the iron filings, before you come to the clay bar. So the clay really is lifting the very fine sort of matter that is left behind. And at the same time, the polishing process, if it's aggressive enough, it will be stripping everything off the paint. But similar to the clay bar lifting the tar deposits, you've got a machine polishing pad, you're oscillating the pad or rotating the pad at 2000 RPM. It's going to pull everything off the paint, but you're then just contaminating the pad. So again, you're leaving deep scores in the paint, and anything you've taken off the paint, it's there for the ride. The cleaner you can work, the more methodical you can work smarter, not harder. You've got to work methodically. It's very sequential. You've got to do this, and this before you can go on to polishing. Otherwise, you're sort of backtracking and you look back at your polishing process and you wonder why you've induced real deep circular scores in the paintwork. Even having the polishing pad face down on the workbench, if the workbench is dusty, it's going to pick up dust, it's going to pick up who knows what. If you don't spur the pad, You then just got to transfer that to the paintwork. At the same time, when you finish the polishing process, before you move on to the next part of the door or the roof or the bonnet, the adjacent area needs to be free of contaminants before you polish. Otherwise, again, you're only picking it up on the pad and you're polishing dirt onto the paint. Actually leads me on quite nicely to the next question on Instagram. How do you go about dust management and residue control? Covered that quite a bit. Lots of sweeping up. The hard floor obviously helps. It's mopped every time the vehicle comes in wet. It's squeegeed, it's mopped. All the surfaces every night, pretty much every night or every other night, are wiped down with like just an APC just to keep them fresh. The vehicle blower, the black Baron vehicle dryer you see me use, it's a force of pressure. It's a big wind. So most polishing sets, every polishing set, when I finish the panel, before I move on to the next panel, or even before I induce the microfiber, before I buff the residue off, it might be that you've kicked up a lot of dust. So you want to blast that out the way prior to you making contact with the microfiber, eliminating the risk of you inducing any marring. When it comes to spurring the pads, you've seen my method of spurring the pads into the bucket with the wet sides. The airline goes into the bucket, the dust hopefully clings to the side of the bucket, not up in the air. This place does get dirty, but I just try my best to keep it as nice and as clean and surgical, I suppose, as possible. If this is nice and clean, I can work comfortably and clean, and if I can work comfortably and clean, there's a better job. So there we are, that'll do. I have gone on enough now. The X3, you're about to see 30-40 seconds of after footage of that. And then I want to just do a minute, 2 minutes on my new toy. You saw it at the start of the episode, the DJI Phantom 4 drone. I love it. I haven't really had time yet, and I still can't foresee much time to use it. I've got to find time to do the edit. I want to get out with the drone and fly. I've got a plan. I want to get out there and just talk about it quickly. So I'll see you in the field. So here we are, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's quite windy, so it's a good test for the drone. We're all set up. I've done a few test flights already. Just ready to change the battery.